Willkommen zurück bei Lamplight City. Ja, wir haben in der letzten Folge den Fall abgeschlossen und sind endlich wieder ein bisschen mit unserer Frau da näher gekommen. Bin auch noch nicht perfekt, aber wir sind auf dem richtigen Weg, glaube ich. Und ja, dann sind wir direkt in den nächsten Fall geschlittert. Dafür sollen wir uns diese 4 Skizzen mal anschauen, ob wir vielleicht was sehen, was was den Justice Killer überführen kann. Würde ich sagen, fangen wir einfach mal an. Gucken mal. Okay, da ist der.
If only you hadn't told Adelaide about me, I might share my thoughts with you. As it is, you're on your own.
Von mir aus. Okay, also das ist der
If only
Körper.
you hadn't told.
Okay. Ach, Quatsch, der hilft uns jetzt gar nicht. Also der.
Whoever drew this was a hack. That looks more like a piece of toast than a flower.
Okay, also hier quasi erschossen. Da ist die
What's the
Inschrift.
point? It's not like you're actually going to be able to investigate this case.
Er scheint ein bisschen pissig zu sein, der Gute. Okay. Das ist die zweite. Ist wieder die Blume.
Were you hoping for some witty insight? Shame, because you're not getting any.
Okay, da ist wieder eine Blume.
I'm sure this is terribly relevant, but I've got nothing to say about it.
Ja, weil da war sie ja auch schon. Okay, gucken wir nochmal. Hier ist sie wieder.
I'm really not in the mood to be analyzing crime scene sketches right now.
Ja, wahrscheinlich ist das sogar so eine Lilie. Wie die aus dem ersten Fall. Und da müsste sie auch sein, da.
Boring, just like everything else in this sketch.
Interesting.
Oh, what? You actually found something without my help? I'm shocked.
Die Blume.
Upton?
What is it, Fordham?
Wir können erstmal über sie fragen.
Everything all right with you?
Oh, I'm getting by. I expect things to go back to normal once this killer is caught.
I haven't worn out my welcome here yet, have I?
No, you're still tolerable. But when was the last time you washed your hair?
You're starting to sound like Adelaide. About those crime scene sketches.
Yes?
Genau, ich habe einen Zusammenhang gefunden.
I think I found a connection.
I knew you would. What is it?
Die Blumen.
There's a single flower at each crime scene. They look deliberately placed.
There is? Let me have a look. You're right. 1 lily at each scene.
Wait, what did you say?
These flowers, they're lilies. Easter lilies, I think.
I don't believe it.
Upton, this is incredible. This is the lead I've been searching for.
What? You mean for another case?
The flower shop burglar. He was stealing Easter lilies. And I distinctly remember him saying something about his desire to uphold justice. At the time, I thought it was just the rambling of a lunatic, but now it seems so obvious.
So the flower shop burglar is the justice killer?
It seems too much of a coincidence otherwise.
Well, then that's wonderful. You can kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Excellent work, Fordham. I knew you could do it.
Okay, Aufgabe notiert.
What exactly are the details regarding this justice killer?
The killings began a few months ago, and so far he's claimed 5 victims. The department wanted to keep this information out of the public eye to prevent a panic, but word has gotten out. On the bright side, it makes your involvement in the case much less suspicious.
Okay, vorheriges.
What can you tell me about the previous victims?
4 men from Chumley: Hannibal Kirkland, Reggie Willingham, Ennis Bowditch, and Burley Cause. No known connection between any of them aside from the borough they lived in. I have copies of the police reports from each of the crime scenes. Go ahead and take them.
Thank you, Upton.
Okay. Und das Neue.
What are the details regarding the killer's latest victim?
As I mentioned, the victim is Percival McDonough, a member of Parliament. He was found this morning by his secretary in his office. I expect the official investigation is still underway.
So the killer managed to get into the Houses of Parliament. No easy feat.
You can say that again. It's the killer's first high-profile victim. It means he's getting bolder.
I suppose I'll have to drop by and see for myself.
Okay.
I should get back to it.
Not a bad idea.
Okay.
Right. I think I have enough information to get started. I think I'll begin with...
Odd. I wasn't expecting company. Chief Snelling?
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Upton, we need to talk. Fordham, I should have guessed I'd find you here.
Oh.
Ah, Chief Snelling. What a pleasant surprise.
I'm equally pleased to see you, Fordham. Although, having you here does save me a bit of trouble.
Trouble?
Those are some rather interesting decorations. Would either of you care to explain how they got here?
And once again, the jig is up. I hope you can talk your way out of this one, too.
Ich hab mis, Tja, ja. Nehmen wir auf uns, oder?
I brought them here, after I made duplicates and took them from the police department.
Nice try, Fordham, but I know for a fact that isn't true. The Ferro Duplicator makes a report of every employee who uses it, as well as what was copied. A rather useful feature for instances such as these. Wouldn't you agree?
These gadgets are going to be the undoing of us all.
In any case, I did some digging and discovered some intriguing information. Upton, why have you been passing on classified police information to Mr. Fordham?
Because he's the best detective you ever had on the force, and you know it.
Scheiße, ey.
Is that right? Personally, I don't consider getting your partner killed the mark of a great detective. But what's done is done. Constance Upton, your employment with the New Britannia Police Department is hereby terminated.
But
I should add that it's only because of your 25 years of dedicated service that I'm not pressing charges against you. But as for you, Fordham, I have enough evidence to place you under arrest for obstruction of justice and interfering with police investigations. Do you have anything to say in your defense before I take you in for questioning?
Ist alles bis Uptons Schuld.
Yes, as a matter of fact, I do. I know who the Justice Killer is.
Fordham, if this is your idea of a diversion...
It's true. I found a link in the sketches of the crime scenes.
All right, let's hear it then. What do you think you found?
I'll tell you if you promise to let me take the case.
Out of the question, Fordham. This is a police matter.
and the police haven't made progress in months. Fordham figured it out in a matter of minutes. Admit it, Snelling. Fordham is your best shot at finding the killer. Are you gonna let your personal differences put the people of this city in danger?
Fine. I'll let you continue to operate as an assistant in this case, if you have actually found something of value. Now, what is this link?
He leaves a single Easter lily at each crime scene. The same type of flowers the burglar and the chum was stealing.
I see. A tenuous link, but plausible. I'll give you until tomorrow afternoon. If you haven't come up with anything, I'm throwing you in jail.
Sounds fair to me.
And don't get any clever ideas about leaving town, either.
Come now, would I do something like that?
Fordham, it seems there's no telling what you might do. I'm probably a fool for not clapping you in irons right here and now. When you have something to report, come find me in my office. Don't make me regret this.
Ich auch.
Well, that went better than I expected.
Except you're still fired. I didn't have a chance to get him to change his mind.
We'll worry about that after you catch the killer. In the meantime, I could use a drink. I'll see you later, Fordham.
Ja, das tut mir schon leid für sie, dass sie jetzt da gefeuert wurde.
Well, better get to work then. Clock is ticking.
Okay, dann müssen wir versuchen, jetzt den Killer zu finden. Da ist House of Parliament, dann gehen wir doch mal da rein.
Fordham, what brings you to this delightful spectacle?
Hello, Edwards. I'm investigating the Justice Killer. I believe I've got a very promising lead.
I heard an officer mention new orders from Snelling, but I thought he was just pulling my leg. Feel free to have a look around. I'm just writing up the notes from my initial examination of the body, so I'll be happy to share my findings.
Good. I'll just get started then.
Okay.
Looks pretty fresh. I wonder what the killer uses to write with.
Ja, stimmt. Nimmt er seine Finger dafür, oder was?
Nothing but a bunch of boring documents. You'd think he could have at least been considerate enough to keep something scandalous in here.
Okay, hier ist...
Nothing has been written in yet for next month. Curious. Odd. The page for this month has been torn out. Do you suppose Edwards might know anything about that?
Okay, sonst ist hier, glaube ich, nix, ne? Nee.
The former Percival McDonough, being a good politician.
Okay. Okay. Was war hier? Bücher.
History books and political theory. I might die of boredom. Again.
Okay, hier ist das Blut. Sonst ist hier, glaube ich, nix, was wir uns...
No signs of forced entry that I can see. The murderer didn't come in through this window.
Okay, wahrscheinlich durch die Tür dann.
Leave it to a politician to hang a portrait of himself in his own office.
Na gut, wir sprechen mal mit Dr.
Got a moment,
Edwards.
Edwards?
Of course. What's on your mind?
So, what was found at the crime scene?
A dead body.
Edwards.
Hey, just trying to lighten the mood a bit. Anyway, there was also the word justice written in blood, as you can see on the floor there.
Is that all?
What more do you need? All the pieces are in place. This is the work of the justice killer.
Okay.
What did your examination of the body turn up?
Apparent cause of death was a single gunshot to the head, exactly like all the other victims. The bullet is still lodged in his brain. I'll remove it once I transport the body back to the mortuary.
Anything else?
No personal effects of note, just a folded up piece of paper in his breast pocket. It's blank, so the police weren't interested. I assume you aren't either.
Doch.
Never assume, Edwards. I'll take it if you don't mind.
Be my guest.
Did the police manage to learn anything during their investigation?
Not much beyond what I've already told you. I think they were planning on speaking to the victim's wife, though.
Did you get the address?
I did, as a matter of fact. 1820 Kent Place.
Now we get to deal with the grieving widow. Hopefully the officers who delivered the news got the worst of it.
Okay. Ja, wir gehen das erstmal einmal durch und dann gucken wir mal, ob wir da weitermachen.
Did you find an Easter lily anywhere?
An Easter lily?
Yes. The justice killer leaves one at every crime scene.
Is that right? I never noticed.
Neither did anyone else, apparently.
So how does leaving a lily at the scene of the crime figure into all of this?
I'm still trying to figure that out, but I think it might be important to understanding his motive.
Well, be sure to let me know if you do figure it out. The thought process of killers is a twisted, curious thing.
Ja.
What's your take on this whole justice killer situation?
It's giving me a lot of extra work, let me tell you. We haven't had a serial murderer in a long time. Not since that fellow who was poisoning people about 10 years ago.
Ah, yes. Gascon Ghoul. Now there was a case.
Any theories or insights regarding the killer's motive or identity?
That's not really my specialty. If you want to get into that psychology stuff, you're better off talking to someone like Snelling.
Ungern eigentlich.
Does it feel good to be out of the office?
As long as I have the chance to examine a body and learn something in the process, I don't care where I am. Though I do admit a preference to working in my own environment. Fieldwork can be a bit uncertain. There's so much more potential for contamination, especially with those clumsy officers trouncing about groping everything. Present company excluded, of course.
Edwards, did you notice McDonough's desk calendar?
I did. This month has been torn out. I asked the officers investigating the scene, and they had no idea what happened to it.
So it wasn't found in this room?
That's right. My theory is that the killer took it.
Which means there was probably something incriminating written on it. If only there was some way of knowing what it was.
Miles, have you forgotten the
Vielleicht.
oldest trick in the book? Just find a pencil and
Genau.
you'll have that information in no time.
Richtig.
Edwards, do you have a pencil I might borrow?
Of course. Take this one.
Thank you.
Dann können wir nämlich mit dem Bleistift da so
Edwards.
drüber rubbeln und
Good
dann
luck
sehen
with
wir,
your
was da drüber
investigation.
geschrieben worden ist. Oder zumindest kriegen wir einen Hinweis darüber.
A classic trick. Let's see if it works.
Okay, bisher eher wenig. Ah, da. Tea Chocolate 10 p.m. Sonst... Hier ist Ruby um 8. Okay, ansonsten haben wir hier nix, ne? Wir müssen alles ausmalen? Okay. Ah, jetzt.
Ha! McDonough met with this person the night of the murder. I'll bet 500 crowns it's a false name, but at least it's something.
Oh, hier, Turn Shockley. Kann ich?
Intriguing. We'll need to find out who this Ruby is.
Okay. Also
It
Ruby.
seems the killer didn't want anyone to know about this meeting with McDonough, and possibly not with Ruby either.
Okay.
No time to wait.
Okay. Okay, wir müssen jetzt also genau mit der Frau reden. Wir müssen die Ruby mal rausfinden, zumindest erstmal, wer das überhaupt ist. Und wir müssen diesen anderen Typen finden, mit dem er sich da um 10 Uhr getroffen hat anscheinend. Gucken wir doch mal. Dann fahren wir erstmal zu der Wohnung von ihr.
What? Who are you?
I'm Miles Fordham, private investigator. Your butler just announced me.
Oh, of course. Forgive me. I was just, well, never mind. Please make yourself comfortable, Mr. Fordham.
Thank you, Mrs. McDonough.
Okay, dann können wir jetzt erstmal uns ein bisschen angucken.
They look
Hier.
expensive, but I bet they're totally worthless. I feel sorry for the sucker who has to clean them.
Okay, Schnickschnack hier, Porträt.
They look expensive, but I bet they're...
Okay, dann würde ich sagen, quatschen wir mal mit ihr.
I appreciate you seeing me, Mrs. McDonough. I know you must be going through a difficult time right now.
What exactly is it you want from me, Mr. Fordham? I already spoke to the police about my husband's murder.
I just have a few questions of my own.
Oh, very well.
Oh, die sieht aber sehr freundlich aus.
What can you tell me about your husband?
I'll tell you the same thing I told the police, Mr. Fordham. Percival was one of the hardest working members of Parliament. He took his job extremely seriously. The recent election caused him a terrible amount of consternation, as I'm sure it did most people. He took Atwood's loss rather hard.
Did you see much of him?
I beg your pardon?
Surely someone with such an important position in government could find themselves consumed by their work. Did he spend much time at home?
He made it a point to come home and have dinner with me every night, even if he had to return to the office afterwards.
And did that happen often?
At least 3 or 4 times in a week, yes. He'd stay in his office working late into the night. As I said, he was very dedicated to his role.
Sounds to me like she's quite dedicated to hers, too.
Okay.
Did your husband have any enemies?
He was a politician, Mr. Fordham. Half the city hated him.
Did he ever receive any kind of threats against his life?
None that I was ever made aware of. I have no idea who could have killed him, let alone who could have gotten into his office to do it. He hadn't told me about any meetings or appointments this week either.
Was it his custom to inform you of his work affairs?
Oh, well, I've always taken an interest in my husband's work. He'd often mention initiatives he was working on or people he was meeting, that sort of thing. Nothing sensitive or confidential, you understand. Just conversation about his day.
Okay.
Do you know anyone named Shackley?
No, I've never heard that name before. Why?
I saw your husband had a meeting scheduled with him shortly before his murder.
That can't be right. He didn't tell me about that. He always told me about his meetings.
It was written on his office calendar, clear as day.
As I said, I don't know who that person is. Why wouldn't Percival have told me about their meeting?
Why indeed?
Tja, keine Ahnung. Fragen wir mal über Ruby.
Are you familiar with someone named Ruby?
I can't say I am. Who is it?
Just a name that's come up in my investigation.
Sounds like the name of a trollop. Or perhaps a dog.
Ich hätte auch eher an das erste gedacht.
Can you think of any reason why your husband would have been murdered?
Not really. He was a vocal opponent of the construction of the Gascogne-Chumley Bridge, but I hardly think that would have been sufficient reason to drive someone to murder.
Why is that?
Well, it's just a bridge, isn't it? There are plenty of other ways to get to Chumley.
I meant, why was he opposed to it?
Oh, because the amount of money required to build it is exorbitant. Public funds should be used on roads and buildings that are falling apart. What's the point of having something shiny and new if everything around it is in disrepair?
Kann man auch so sehen.
Have you heard of the Justice Killer?
That was the name the police mentioned when they told me about Percival's murder. It's absolutely terrifying to think that one sick person could be capable of such evil. Why is he called the Justice Killer? What justice was done by murdering my husband?
I'm afraid I can't answer that right now, Mrs. McDonough, but I intend to find out.
Okay, dann würde ich sagen, beenden wir das
Those are all the
Gespräch.
questions I have for now, Mrs. McDonough.
All right, Mr. Fordham.
Ja, okay. Dann würde ich sagen, gehen wir in diesem Fall in der nächsten Folge weiter nach. Ja, ich bedanke mich auf jeden Fall recht herzlich fürs Zuschauen. Wir sehen uns dann in der nächsten Folge hier bei Lamplight City. Schönen Gruß an Smodern. Wir sehen uns in der nächsten Folge. Bis dahin, auf Wiedersehen.